Dear students, parents, everyone watching us live on GAU events at the moment, we're so happy, we're so delighted again, we're having you live online. We're going to be having a very unique guest today, Tal Garih. He will be joining us soon. We will discuss about many issues, many important ones, which are well asked by the students and everyone. As it's known, at the moment we are having the worldwide pandemic, and you guys are staying connected with us, and we are so happy with this because it's an excellent opportunity to keep updated with what we are doing. So it's not only the online lessons, it's not only the live lectures that you guys are having. We are having our events online, and we are making a difference with this. Today's topics are so important and significant ones. We're going to be talking about the qualities of the new societies. We'll talk about the 4-5 societies. We'll talk about contemporary education, artificial intelligence. We will talk about many other issues as digital age and onwards. As I said, today's guest is a very unique person. But before we get connected to our guest, let me give you a quick brief about Tal Garih. Tal Garih, he graduated from University of Virginia, majoring in international relations and psychology in 2007. And then in 2010, he graduated majoring in international business and international politics. Now, ever since in 2010, he joined his family company, Alarco Group of Companies. Now, when he joined Alarco Group of Companies, he took different roles and different positions from as a marketing analyst, as a business developer, and many other positions as well, and lately as a strategic planning manager in Alarco Holding. Now, there were many emphases that he was putting on. He was putting emphasis on branding, pricing, campaigning, customer satisfaction, and communication activities, of course focusing on specific fields such as operation management, such as renewable energies and globalization, the power of trading and corporate relations. Now, in addition to his role in the group of companies of Alarco, he took social positions. He became a faculty member of GAU University, and he became the chairman board of the business school over there. Apart from that, he's a member of the New Leader Association, trying to connect with the leading firms and companies in Turkey, and working hand in hand with the NGOs over there, and trying to identify talented individuals, young leaders, and paving the way for them to have great opportunities in their future. Now, of course, apart from all of these, he has got many other areas of interest. As I said, today's guest is a very significant person. He's considered among the new thinkers of the novel technologies in Turkey, a very enthusiastic businessman. Some of the interesting areas of the fields that he's interested in are novel technologies and geopolitics. Apart from that, globalization and Eastern philosophies as well, which is very interesting, to be honest. And before I forget, managerial psychology as well. He loves animals, he is into arts, Kung Fu, and he is at a very high level in his linguistic skills. He is very fluent in 3 languages. Now, please keep tuned, keep watching us, and don't miss this opportunity. Now we're going to be connected to our guest. Yes, here we
Hello,
are.
sir. Hello, hi, hello, Jalal. How are you? It's a real pleasure and honor being amongst you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for inviting me again. And in English, it's a true honor, sir. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. You're too kind. I only have one thing to say. There is no I in team. It's all about being together and working in a collaborative manner. There's no leader anymore. True leadership is about leaders, plural. But thank you again. As I said, a pleasure, honor, and and a true excitement as well. Thank you.
Well, sir, our honor is ours. To be honest with you, we're so happy. Last week we had you with us, and you addressed an excellent topics to our students, and now we're having it again to our international students. Today there are lots of topics to be discussed, and as I haven't listed them before letting you join, but we will go over them, and I'm sure that many of our audiences will be very excited with these topics. Sir, as it's known, coronavirus, COVID-19, it started as epidemic, it became pandemic all around the world. So economies, social life of people have been halted, devastated. Now, what will be the countermeasures and their impact on social lives? Will there be any shared responsibilities?
Thank you, sir, for the question again. And as I said, being in Cyprus, being together is so meaningful, especially today. Although we're far apart, and although we can't physically touch each other, I think that we're closer than ever before. And I think especially the Z generation and the youngsters understand it even better than us, as both of us are at the end of the day immigrants, and they're native into these different worlds. We might stay at home all day long, but we're traveling through so many platforms. Just imagine, since you woke up, you went to WhatsApp, then to Spotify, then maybe to Netflix, then to Instagram Live through Girne, then maybe to another portal. We've been in like 10 portals, and we've only been awake for, I don't know, 6-7 hours maybe. So that's crazy. So there are many topics to address and a short amount of time. So I'll try to keep it brief, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, of course. Let me start with a quote, please, because someone already said it better than us. Lenin used to say that some centuries pass like weeks, while some weeks pass like centuries, or pass by like centuries. So time is relative, right? We're living in exponential times of change. Everything is changing faster and faster and faster. So before answering your question, if you don't mind, I would like to address what's been happening with this COVID-19 pandemic and where we have reached. Well, basically, we have had similar pandemics in the past in history, and all of you have read it, probably the Spanish flu and the Black Death and whatnot. And back then, approximately a quarter to half of the populations in Asia and Europe would die. Between 25 to 50, sometimes even 100 million people. Today, however, we're much better equipped than the past. Why? Modern medicine, contemporary pharmaceuticals, and more awareness and knowledge regarding what's happening. Back then as well, they used to shut themselves at home and used to stay away. But today we're tackling the situation much better with social distancing and being able to be together. As I said, we're closer to each other than ever before, in a sense. It's all about paradoxes in life. Life is all about paradoxes, like sweet and sour sauce. I miss McDonald's. Really, sweet and sour sauce doesn't make sense, but when you go to McDonald's, it does. The more you want, the less you have. The more you give, the more you get. So when you get that the life is filled with these paradoxes, and they're actually tailoring towards one another and are creating a balance in the world, then we feel better about it, and we're called to action in an imaginative mind frame rather than a stressful one. But coming back to your question, although similar pandemics happened before and we're much better equipped, we have no living memory of such a pandemic. The Spanish flu happened in 1918, so over 100 years. So maybe a couple of people know, but we don't have really a living memory. And that causes fear, stress, alarm. But as I said, with modern medicine, within 2 weeks, we've completely solved the genome, and we're working towards medications and whatnot, and probably we'll get there within a year or so. So we're taking the right steps. However, the economic crisis that is going to follow is dramatic. Because I listened to Rubini the other day. I recommend all of you listen to his podcast. Rubini is a distinguished economics professor in NYU, the school I graduated from New York University, and he predicted the 2008 economic crisis before it happened. And a one-hour webinar, really good. And he's saying that before, right now the economy went down. So will it go up in a U-shaped curve or a V-shaped curve, slow recovery? Short? He's like, there's not going to be any U or any V. Free fall, he's saying. So
free fall.
Serious free fall.
Yeah.
So I predict and anticipate small systematic changes which would lead towards an eventual big systematic neo-capitalistic change, which will hopefully make the world an even better place, and a system which will tailor humanity and the environment and planet Earth as a whole. But it can go both ways, and I'll get to it. But they are not mutually exclusive. They serve each other, like the paradoxes do, like the sweet and sour sauces do. But coming back again to your question, without elaborating too long, this is a different economic crisis. In 1929, in 1980, in 2001, 2008, what happened? The financial system collapsed, and that affected the street and the real economy. And through certain measures like injecting money and reducing interest rates and other different measures, slowly but surely the financial monetary system got better, which pumped up the employment and the street to flow even faster. But today, in 2020, with this COVID-19 crisis, we see the exact opposite. The street died. The street is not operational. The real economy is not working, which translates into a financial system, into a catastrophic financial system. So the remedies and the medicine of the old days, of the old type of crisis, are not suitable anymore, as this is a different type of illness. And maybe nature is telling us something. Maybe the world is telling us something. Maybe destiny is telling us something. And this should call us to action. So here I call all the beautiful ladies and gentlemen in the room to take out their Jedi swords and fight to make the world a better place. Because think about Star Wars. You have the good forces and you have the bad forces. But thanks to the bad forces, the good forces come to play. The Jedis then awaken. Because the Jedis are there, the black. So they're actually, it's a balancing act. And that's what the Buddhists always say. Nothing is bad or good. Everything is just as is, and as you condition yourself to see it. You might see something horrifically, I might see it beautifully, another person might see a whole different thing. Or even me, myself, might see it differently the next day. If you cannot change reality, change the way you see reality. Cognitive reappraisal. But coming to the collaboration and the solidarity that we're supposed to see, today is the time for governments to shine, to show solidarity, for ecosystems to collaborate. But we're seeing the exact opposite.
And it's true, and this is what we are seeing. Just to put my input as well to what you said. Definitely, I would like to say that just lately, many analysts says that nearly 75 million jobs will be lost. However, after 2024. There will be new 133 million jobs to be generated. So I know that many people, or generally speaking, the public, they are looking at it in a very devastating way, that everything will be halted. But this is a great opportunity for a better life, for initiating what we've been trying to work on all those technologies of artificial intelligence and the technologies that they've been working on in the latest 5-10 years. So definitely what you said is right.
Now, you mentioned exactly, this is a very opportunistic time for everyone actually to shine, to revise their business models, to create a more sustainable future, to switch towards purpose. If we're just going to make money and not create a sustainable earth to our grandchildren and to animals, what is it? It's irrational. And of course, there are going to be new jobs, but there are going to be losers and winners. and platforms are going to get consolidated. Some people are just in
Yes.
the wait and see mode. Let's see what happens, and after the storm passes, we'll see. No, now is the time to act. And the X generation, the rules of the world in general, of course, not always, are more about seeing and waiting in such uncertainties. But as you said, Deloitte says that in 13 years, 48% of current jobs are going to be replaced by new jobs. So half of the current jobs are going to completely become obsolete. So we need to choose the smart jobs. McKinsey said that by 2030, the AI industry, the artificial intelligence economy, is going to be $13 trillion economy. So whatever you do, you need to be smart and use technologies. But those are just, at the end of the day, tools. What are your vehicles? You can use it. You can use AI in everything, in education, in energy. And look, in 2022, 58 million new jobs are predicted in this field of artificial intelligence. So this is definitely a promising field, but you should do whatever you love to do. What would parents tell us in the past? You should be a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer. What are they going to tell us in the future? You should be a psychologist. You should be an artist. You should do something imaginative to develop well with the AI algorithms and the robots. But even that doesn't matter. What do you love to do? What are you passionate about? We need meaning in life. We need to find our ikigai, what we're good at, what we love, what the world needs, and what we can get paid for. If we can find it in one job, we can find it we can wear a few hats. Today, we should wear different hats. But and we need to do it within an ecosystem and within a collaborative sharing mind frame. And to your question initially, do we see that in the world today? Companies became so strong and the governments were losing power. Today, governments are supposed to shine. They're the powerful ones. Everyone is at home. But we don't see solidarity, even in the EU, in the European Union.
Definitely.
Spain and Italy are not even receiving medical equipment. They are not even sharing medical equipment between them. And there was already a loss of trust in the EU and different nation states and the system with the 99% protests in 2008. So there was already a loss of trust. So this is the exact time, the New World Order, to call to action and create a shared purpose and reinvigorate the trust. But rather than doing that, Spain and Italy are completely disillusioned, and especially after the Brexit and whatnot, the EU is probably going to collapse. Now, what happens when there is no international solidarity? Italy doesn't close up, Turkey doesn't close up because they need to protect their economy because no one else is going to help them. But if Italy would know that the EU, if Turkey would know that NATO or that's a military arm or the US would be behind them, then they would close up quicker. But rather they don't. And because they don't, everyone gets sick. The economies even get worse. So it becomes an irrational game theory. So what I'm saying, that a true nationalist today should be a globalist. Someone else's threat is our threat as well. But that's not the approach today. And compared to 2008, we're even worse. The Trumpism philosophy of first us, America first. We don't have any friends, we have only interests. That philosophy is very dangerous. Rather than that, we need to work and support each other. True leadership today, I suppose, stems from different leaders from different arenas running together hand by hand. Basically, what I'm saying is new mathematics of the New World Order, which is 1 + 1 = 3. Otherwise, 1 doesn't even equal 1. So we need to run together. Otherwise, stress, fear, alarm, right wing creating more fear and polarization. Watch the movie V for Vendetta with Natalie Portman if you haven't checked it out yet, or if you haven't watched it for a long time. The risks, the threats are real. But again, they're compensated through balance and through you beautiful Jedis. I have many more things to say, but I know you have many questions. So please, Jalal. And I also wonder what you think. We have much to learn from you, sir. So I appreciate the dynamic and interactive process again.
To be honest with you, I'm completely in line with all of what you're saying. But I just want to stress on the EU. And I have to say that definitely this pandemic will move the EU towards a complete different axis and angle. There is a great probability that there will be a collapse, as we've lately started hearing about Italy Brexit and Spain Brexit as well. I mean, Spain and Italian MPs in their parliaments, they are calling for exiting, getting out of the EU. So most probably after this pandemic, we will have new organizations and new plannings all around the world in different continents. But nevertheless, as you said, all of this will push us towards a worldwide shared responsibility and solidarity. But now, this topic is so important with all these changes and that are happening at the moment. One of the other issues that COVID-19 has raised in the worldwide agenda is the privacy of let's say humanity all in all. I mean, we've seen lots of examples of it in Eastern Asia. We've seen many in Japan, in China, in Malaysia, and some other places as well. They have invented those specialized, just for an example, helmets and some other apps trying to follow up people, trying to label them as risk, yellow, green, so that they can have all these infos and all that stuff. Can we say that there will be a breach of privacy after COVID-19? I mean,
great question, sir. Really great question. Thank you. You opened a great subject. Now, when we think about health or privacy, look, with Cambridge Analytica, after the Cambridge Analytica scandal, we saw a lot of awareness towards privacy. I don't want to share my data. I need to be careful about it and whatnot. But today, with the corona pandemic, with the COVID pandemic, what is more important, health or privacy? And we see biometric analysis done by different countries. In China, I have a friend living in China, and in China, you need to carry a barcode with you, and it's either green, yellow, or red. If it's red, you cannot even leave your house. If it's yellow, you cannot go to the ATM or use the metro or use any kind of public services. Only if it's green, you can. So in the future, they're going to know what we're feeling, what we're thinking. Back in the past, they used to take everything from us, but they couldn't get into here. Now they're not only going to know our thoughts, they're going to manipulate our thoughts without our knowledge. That's where it's getting towards. Read Orwell's 1984. It can go towards a dystopia. I read that in Russia, they built 150 cameras, AI cameras, which during the closure of the country, anyone who breaks the laws, the camera takes their picture and sends them a fine electronically. Now this threat of privacy versus health, because people, when they're scared, they will choose health, and then governments can take advantage of this, and this can create digital dictatorships, totalitarian structures, and data colonies. China and the US are so ahead in the AI, artificial intelligence game, that they're collecting tons of data, and people are sharing their pictures to see how they're going to look when they're old, from which nationalities they came. Don't do that. They're taking your data and they're analyzing it. And in the future,
face facials and all that stuff, yeah.
Stanford is saying that Facebook, after 300 likes, which is also Instagram, after 300 likes, knows you better than your wife or best friend. So these algorithms are becoming so smart. They know you better than yourself. In Netflix, 75% of the stuff we watch is coming from the algorithm and what they recommend us. We only decide 25%. So right now, how many people really know the financial system? 1%. In the future, 0, because algorithm thinks differently. So unfortunately, today there is no solidarity, and because there is no solidarity, it can go towards police states. If everyone just focuses on themselves, it can go towards an AI arms race and towards data colonies. So we need, all of us, to be aware of this and fight it. But the best warrior is never angry, says Lao Tzu. And that's why we need to run towards Society 5.0. But before we get into Society 5.0, the risks are real. I mean, the technology is there. The algorithms know us very well. What China and Russia are doing And that's why China mitigated the COVID pandemic much better than the West, because they lock people in their houses, no liberty. I mean, it's crazy. And them
they have very harsh regulations and strict rules over there. It's true.
They're doing even war. Like everything you're buying, if you're buying in a credit card in a certain store, if someone else carrying a credit card was there, they're using all the systems into a combined AI algorithm, which is becoming smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. So in the future, there'll be no wars. There'll be no military wars. There'll be no economic wars. There won't be even cyber wars. There'll be data colonies. We are controlled and manipulated without our knowledge. And if we will stick with this scare, as I said, polarization, fear, we've been seeing this with ISIS, with the immigrants, with COVID. And this is very dangerous, and this is irrational. This is not a rational way of thought. Back in the day, realpolitik, thinking just about our more interests, also I think didn't make sense. But today, in particular, with such a connected global economy, within globalization, all the supply chains are interrupted. Everyone, but some are going to win and some are going to lose. This is going to be very, how you call it? This is going to create a new shift, like Darwin's natural process. The strong will survive organizationally, country-wise. Those countries, those companies that will follow intelligent business models, platform-based, algorithm-based, AI-based, data-based concepts, they will win.
Because they will be the ones. They will be the ones definitely prevailing, and we can see its effects at the moment in all around the world in different continents. As you said, the ones who are advanced, sophisticated in these novel technologies, and they are contributing and putting a great budget or costs. I mean, there is a cost anyways in artificial intelligence, but the ones who are planning, organizing strategically their countries towards getting this advanced technology or developing their technologies will be the ones prevailing, and there will be definitely winners and losers. So now, discussing all this, this is bringing us about different means and different aspects in our discussion. So what should be the qualities of a new generation?
Oh, great, super. Quality of all of us, but the qualities in the new world order, I think, because this is definitely, as you said, sir, this is definitely the time to redesign and readapt our business models towards becoming smarter, more digital, and more sophisticated. But when we talk about technology and about the new world, we have to always remember the values. Everything starts with values. If we're going to go towards the right place or towards the wrong place, if the threats will manifest themselves, or whether Society 5.0 and beautifying humanity, it totally depends on the people. It's all about the people at the end of the day. When we talk about technology, we forget to talk about the individual, because it's not separate from us. It's a part of us. We're moving towards a singularity. Read Kurzweil's Singularity book. Read Yuval Harari's Homo Deus. It's showing very well how we're going to develop. Right now, we're continuously with our phones, right? The first phone was bigger than your campus, was so expensive, processing power was weaker than today's cell phone. So in the very, very, very close future, it will enter our bloodstreams. How you call it? Glasses will enter our retinas. So we're going to be half biological, half technological beings. And we're approaching that really quickly. And this is becoming exponential, and this change is becoming exponential, like the doubling of information. Let me just, so before I get into what we need to be today, like where are we going? We need to also think about the context. In the 1900s, it used to take approximately 100 years for information to double up. In 1960s, it went down from 100 years to 40 years. In 2015, went down to 13 months. Today, less than a year. This means that soon the doubling of information would take less than 12 hours. So this multiplier effect is creating serious change. And this is happening exponentially rather than linearly. Our brains always think linearly. What happened in the last 5 years will happen again in the next five. No, when it's exponential, think about this is a piece of paper, 1 centimeter.
And
You fold it, it's 2 centimeters. How many times do you need to fold it for it to go from the floor to the moon? 43 times, because it's physically it cannot be folded more than 7, but basically it shows how exponential change is happening quickly, very quickly. And so we need to mold with these technologies at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter what others tell us. As I said, today you should be a psychologist, yesterday you should have been a lawyer. What you love to do. As long as you do whatever you love to do and incorporate intelligent business models, platform-based, data with data analytics, then whatever you do, and you enjoy, first you need to be happy, and if you enjoy it, you'll be successful at it. Now, I think that today people definitely, what are the highest forms of intelligence in my book? This is my 2 cents. Empathy. It's all about empathy and empathy, putting ourselves in the person across. Humility, not America first. You first, not me. If you feel good, I feel better. Humility, being humble, being modest, being kind, having good intentions, and of course, integrity. Integrity. And only then will we move from
I think this is one very important, significant point, emotions, that they are still having some problems with in artificial intelligence, isn't it? I mean, no matter how advanced or sophisticated they are at the moment, even though they're trying to create those technologies where they're trying to orient those machines towards of how humans are thinking or how humans are feeling, but still the emotions, they are unable to do it like the humans, isn't it? I mean, for the time being, at least.
For the time being, it's true. But as I said, this is going to creep on us so fast. It's like Siri. When Siri first came out, it doesn't understand me. It doesn't understand my accent. After 6 months, after a year, people are talking about Siri. Siri, it has been around always. It's creeping on you really quickly. Look, they're saying, Boston Consultancy, one of the best consultants in the world, are saying that in 2023, computing power will exceed our brain power. Computing power will exceed brain power. In 2045, hopefully all of you will live to see that day. Computer power will exceed the total brain power of humanity. But it's not, so they're asking what will happen to us, these Matrix or Terminator scenarios. There's no us and them. We're the same, we are evolving together towards a singularity. So as we're evolving together and as half of the jobs won't yet exist, how are we going to prepare the young towards jobs that don't yet exist? That's a very difficult question. First of all,
the future professions, yes.
First of all, we don't even ask what they want. I have a question to the people here. Are you living in the moment? Are you truly living, albeit in your house, you're in different platforms. Are you living in the moment? Because society, unfortunately, most of you probably say inside no. Unfortunately, because we're always living with the worries towards the future, thoughts about the past, and we're unable to be in the moment because we're continuously fixated about something. We do something good, it passes, we think about the next. And society...
this is actually bringing us to those different classifications, and I know that you're too much into this field. I mean, the classifications have changed from society 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're talking about futurism, which is society 6, isn't it?
Yes.
Actually, we can open this field more and more.
Sure. Let me just take a note. Exactly. Now, let me just now when a person is born, do we ask the child or the baby, what do you think about the world? Do you like what you see? No. Go and be a good human. Go and become a human. Go to school. Now get into a good high school. Now get into a good university like Girne or Bahçeşehir. Get into a good university. Now, commencement, supposedly 22, 23-year-old commencement, as if life is starting. And then go find a good job. And you sit there because your mom, your dad, or someone told you to sit there. And then you need to make your KPIs, you reach your goals. And then you reach your eventual goal of becoming vice president or even CEO. And let's say you get there. And you go to your new office and you look at the window and you feel completely the same. So you basically were fooled and you fell into a trap because you didn't enjoy the process. So the gift is not in the end product, it's in the journey itself, like Paulo Coelho says. So basically, we need to learn to live in the, I'm not saying carpe diem, let's drink until the morning and not care about tomorrow. I'm saying those who are able to be in the moment while thinking about the future, planning for the future and living in the moment. And in order for that, you need flow. And for flow, you need passion. And I think especially the millennials understand this very well. They are not happy where they're working. They are disillusioned. When I ask people in 5 years who wants to be an entrepreneur or at least a freelancer, 90% raise their hands. So we need to create a system. Back in the day, the X generation was happy working 20 years in one place. So we need to create a society which is focused on contemporary education so we can be the winners. The winners in this intricate race towards creating a better future, but it can go both ways. As I said, we shouldn't fear technology, but it's all about how we use it. Look, right now they're hacking our Instagram, our credit cards. In the future, they'll hack our brains. So we don't know what's really coming because of this exponential change, as I said, with the doubling of the information example. Everything is changing faster and faster. For example, for exponential change, we look at, anyway, I'll get into that before when I talk about Future 6.0, but when we talk about values, we also need to talk about what contemporary education should focus on, what we need to be good at. So today, it's not about memorizing anymore. It's not about molding the person. It's about giving them, I think, a baseline and the right infrastructure so they can fly up high and the sky isn't even the limit.
It's about critical thinking. It's about creativity. It's about imagination and brainstorming. Things have changed with the old schoolings, and as you said, with contemporary education, definitely there is a big phase of change between both eras.
Exactly, and exactly, and imagination, cognitive flexibility, as you said, imagination, creativity, but cognitive flexibility, complex problem solving, strategic thinking, EQ, judgment, decision-making, negotiation, people management, people coordination, constructive thinking, not only critical thinking, also constructive to manage our brains well. Look, today, there are basically three brain systems. Very briefly, we have what was the name of that brain? Reptilian brain. We have reptilian brain, our most basic level form of brain, and here we're basically sharing it with reptilians, and this is basically fight or flight or freeze, and instinctual base, and these instincts protect us. And then the second level is the amygdala, the limbic brain, and this is the emotional feeling brain, and here we share it with dogs, with cats. Whenever you see a cat with their baby or with their cub, you feel for them, right? You can create empathy, right? So with all mammals, we share this amygdala, this thinking brain. But what separates us? The neocortex. And here we have all we see music and language and values and whatever distinguishes us as humanity and humankind. Now, in such times of change, when change is so abrupt, like the COVID, as I said, I always foresaw these things happening faster than predicted. And the corona is going to make it even faster. Everyone thinks it will happen in 10 years. I said 3, now it's going to even happen in 1. So let me ask you something. It's so important because I have some students asking about this. There is a conspiracy about numbers. I mean, COVID-19/19. So is this like a sign that there are going to be COVID-20, 21? I mean, it goes on because there are, as you know, I mean, even the emergence of this virus by itself, there are lots of controversial conspiracies about it. I mean, how it started. Was it from the United States laboratories, or was it from Wuhan itself, or the spies that the Chinese sent, or even those French who claim
that they have got the copyrights of it in Paris, and it goes on, or the ones claiming that these are the trials of the sarin gas, or the ones who are attacking the 5G technologies and saying that the ones who are having the 5Gs are the ones who are most affected. I mean, here and there. So COVID-19/19, is it a sign of a different pandemic coming?
Now,
or catastrophe coming?
Now this is the $1 trillion question. I'm not even saying billion; it's the $1 trillion question, and even more. The last bailout in America was 2 trillion, the biggest bailout ever seen. I mean, the biggest one I've seen before, package-wise, was 300 billion. This is 2 trillion, so I guess quadrillion. But no, seriously, I think that Yuval Harari is a great source and a great inspiration. And he says, although he's quite dark sometimes, he says that those who are saying it's a conspiracy doesn't know anything about biology, and they doesn't probably should ask someone with a PhD what a virus is. So I suggest that if you don't have a PhD in virus and biology, don't immediately believe what you see, and talk with actual biologists. Now, but rather than focusing on the rain, I rather focus on my table and what we can do, as it's more productive. But coming back to the limbic brain, when there's so many changes at once, there is stress, there is anxiety. Why? Because the brain doesn't know how to get from A to B anymore. Before they were scared about their health. Now people are scared about their jobs, about money, about what they're going to do in life. It's a real problem. So this creates anxiety in the limbic brain. But at the same time, because you cannot reach from A to B anymore the same way, so now you start thinking about C, E, D. So that fosters creativity. That fosters cognitive flexibility. So to do that, we need to do that to create a better future, to win our fears, and to create a society 5.0 based systems. So it's very important to do online yoga, to do sports, to wake up at normal times, not to wear jammies all day long. Not to work too much either, because you're always at home, to look at old pictures, talk with friends.
Focusing on individual means.
This is the time to create new hobbies, to learn new things, and to adapt to the new world order, as to establish new business model and see what you love and what you're passionate about. As I said, it's all about finding your passion and planning and living the moment while planning for the future. And why do we need to plan for the future? Why do we need to be so tech savvy and aware of all of these? Because otherwise, the Jedis won't be in play and the dark forces will win. And this is seriously, all of you are enlightened people that are spending their times wisely. So let's go and beat the dark forces together. The ones who create fear, who take advantage of this. Now, what is Industry 4.0? Industry 4.0 was first introduced by the Germans in 2011. And afterwards, we've seen an exponential transition towards these technologies. And this is continuing, and this is continuing in a tsunami wave fashion. And what did Germany say back then? In Germany are big in industry, in automotive and whatnot. And they said, we need to restructure our industry and be more effective, be more efficient, be more customer oriented, and basically have better output, better GDP, and use these technologies. What are these technologies? They're actually a combination of a whole. They're actually different parts of the same animal. They're all serving one another. Artificial intelligence, big data extrapolations, robotica, 5G, IoT, Internet of Things, blockchain technologies, augmented reality, augmented people, singularity, Homo Deus.
Homo Deus, yeah.
Homo Deus. So it's going towards there. But this is just focusing on tailoring these technologies towards industry. But then in 2017, towards the end of 2017, the Japanese came and said, Society 5.0. Yes, algorithms. Yes, artificial intelligence. Yes, IoT. Yes, all these beautiful technologies, but they should be appropriately suited and implemented, not just towards industry and profit-based mechanisms. It should be associated with society, with humanity, and it should create, these technologies should create a better tomorrow, rather than just ruthless capitalism, which is not sustainable. And they are advocating through Society 5.0 that these technologies, together with industry, should actually serve animals, women, nature, planet Earth, humanity, and children, plants. Now we feel more than ever. I saw this great picture of birds chirping outside, and we as people in a bird cage sitting in the living room. So maybe today, maybe look, this is very serious.
Yeah, that was caricature.
This is very serious. This is going to bring a radical change. But afterwards, after the storm, with the winners, hopefully the Jedis, hopefully this will get us to be less materialistic, less consumption society, less going to the malls and more going to the parks or to the forests, and less being involved in stupid stuff and more with animals and family. Right today, it's all about touching each other. But as I said, we're closer than ever before. So Society 5.0 is today. Industry 4.0 is passé. So those who didn't even know about it, never mind it. Industry 4.0 is actually not the purpose. It's a tool towards society. But for us to navigate today in a healthy, productive manner and to be visionary, because whenever you do investments, you need to do projections and have foresight. So also as not only as business people, but as a society, as representatives of different associations and different ecosystems and different platforms, we have a responsibility to envision where it's going towards so we can actually manage today well and be the winners. So if yesterday is 4.0, today is Society 5.0, I say that tomorrow is Futurism 6.0. And we all need to be futurists. For us to manage today well, we need to envision tomorrow.
Yes, and here we are again.
Yes.
After many trials, as we know, we need to keep on trying, and it worked at the end. We really do apologize for everyone, but these days are extraordinary. Perhaps it's because of the influx of internet connectivity going on everywhere, and that's why we end up with this problem sometimes. But anyways, fresh. So let's continue with what we've been discussing. So we were talking about the smart cities, and I was giving examples of those very famous, renowned smart cities. And I know very well that yourself and your company, they're too much into sophisticated, smart technologies, novel technologies. So let's open the subject.
Perfect. Well, first of all, I would like to say the following, that regardless of technologies, first we need to focus on our values again. I think it's very important for the ones who just entered maybe. We need to focus from profit. Rather than focusing on profit, we need to focus on purpose. Whenever I say this, I bet that CTOs are saying, what is this kid saying? Of course, cash flow is everything. Of course, financial stress tests and supply chain analysis optimization needs to be done. But if you just focus on profit, money doesn't come. If you focus on purpose, it eventually does come. Like the Netflix example, we need to focus on purpose. We need to focus on network management rather than hierarchies. As I said, create a more agile system where everyone is a decision maker. Basically, rather than having control, empowering people. True success is empowering others. When I ask people who wants to be Elon Musk's or Jennifer from YouTube, almost everyone raises their hands. What happens then? 3-5 startups change the world, bring inspiration. But how long can they run? 50 years. And that's because life is getting extended, maybe 30 probably. That's nothing in human history. And that's human history, which is also nothing. But rather than becoming an Elon or a Jennifer, how about enabling 10 half Elon and Jennifers? Rather than you becoming one, enabling 10 people to be half of one of them. Then it's much more sustainable. If I give you $1 and you give me $1, we start with $1, we end with $1. If we each give each other an idea, we start with one idea, we both end up with 2 ideas. So it's all about sharing, basically. And when you do this, we need to learn to listen, to understand, rather than just listen to reply. We listen to reply, but really to show curiosity from the inside and really pay attention and be at the moment, show empathy, and be a good person, be open, be vulnerable, be authentic. When you show vulnerability, that's true leadership. Then others help you because you let their own leadership shine. And it's very important to install trust when you do this. So I think these ideas, I think that these ideas and concepts are critical. But as you go towards new technologies and as you think about Futurism 6.0, let me just give you some ideas regarding this exponential change. Solar energy, which I always talk about. In the last 30 years, we see a multiplier of 200x. Basically, 30 years ago was $200 or lira. Today, one. Nanotechnology, 45 multiples in 5 years, just 5 years. 5 years ago was $45, today $1.
This is with nanotechnology, yeah?
This is with nano. With biotechnology, 10,000 multipliers in 7 years. 7 years ago, $10,000 worth of biotech equipment, today one. That's why it's so easy to follow people and what China and Russia are doing, and that's why we need you Jedis to come into play. It's not that they're doing bad today, but it can go towards bad places, as I said, digital dictatorships and data colonies. Otherwise, they're performing very well in the race. And nanotech, how you call it? Not nanotech, 3D printers. 400x in 7 years. Sensors, like in the cars, all these sensors, 250x. So what used to be very infeasible, drones, 142x in 6 years. Robotica, 23x in 5 years. So this is really showing promise. So as I said, whatever we do, how will we organize our businesses or organizations? Which models will we focus on? Who will do it? How will the employee experience be? How will we focus on digital transformation, on cultural transformation, or on corporate culture? So people really want to work there. Even in Facebook and Google, people don't want to work for over 4 years. So we have a lot to do. And we need, while we do this, to focus on the new world principles. And according to me, the new world principles consist of the following. First and foremost, cooperation. And just to give an example so the concept sticks, I like to use the gold mine example. There was a business person who decides to buy a land believing there is gold there because there are gold mines around it. But whatever he does, he cannot find the gold. This is a real story. Eventually, right when he's about to give up, he's just about to give up, but at the last moment, he's like, I'll just give it a shot. He starts a competition on the internet. Whoever finds me the gold gets $1 million. And he shares all the maps and all the topography. Eventually, someone finds the gold, $3.2 billion of gold. The other person gets the 1 million. Everyone is happy. If he wouldn't have started a cooperative internet contest, no one would have found the gold. Transparency. Look at Snowden. Look at WikiLeaks. We need to be transparent. The best medicine is sunlight and sharing. Tesla is a great example here. Tesla is the best automaker in the world, especially when it comes to electrical vehicles, which is the future EV.
Electrical vehicles, yeah.
And they shared all their patents, all their secret sauce with their competitors. So their technology becomes a base technology, the lithium ion technology. There are many competing technologies, and there's no baseline, hydrogen and different ones. And today, although it shared all its technologies, it's still ahead by far. And last but not least, and this is to you, fine ladies and gentlemen and students and academics, influence and access to power. You are more influential than ever before, and you have access to power, you have access to knowledge, you have access to platform. Today, the old generation needs you to get them everything. So this is your time to shine. And this should be done within a team spirit. Unfortunately, we see generational clash. Before, generations would be 30 years, then 20, today 10. And we see generation clashes between the millennials, the X, and then even the Zs. The Z, I'm Y generation, I was born in 1985, but that's also fooling. Because I was born in 85, does it mean that I'm actually the same as any other 35-year-old? Some are
having integrational problems.
some your biological age, your health age, your psychological age, how old you feel, your physiological age, how old
Yeah.
you look and take care of yourself, and of course your calendar age should all be added and divided by 4 to get your true age, they say. And as you do this, as you think about these access to knowledge, cooperation, and whatnot, we need to think about purpose. What's our life's purpose? Using our gifts, whatever they are. It's not like that person is smart, that person is stupid. But there are 12 different types of signs of intelligence. Ronaldo plays great soccer but doesn't speak well. A great speaker doesn't know how to move their body. So we should use our own gifts through appropriate vehicles, channels, that's the organizations or whatever you want to work, because you want to get things done and you want to make the world better. And you use these channels with your gifts to make the world a better place while being happy because you enjoy what you do, hopefully, like going to kindergarten. Of course, every job has its difficult moments. But again, it's a paradox. Because it's difficult, it means a lot. Silence is very loud. Think about it. Silence is very loud. So we need to go towards a society which is focusing on these principles, which is focusing on what we need in the new world order. And for that, values, true leadership, which doesn't consist from one person, getting away from ego, moving towards the better good, following our ikigais. And let me just say something when we're talking about this. When you want to, as you want to benefit society, environment, humanity, I think everyone here wants to do that, right? When you think about the purpose of life is giving. It's all about giving. And in order to give well, you need to understand the customer, to understand the stakeholders. So you need to do data analysis real time. Some companies take the data and later analyze it with Excel. No, real time analysis. As I said, the Netflix example, 75% of content is what the algorithm tells us. In HBO, they don't have a smart model. So what do? We'll find a nice show like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones starts, a spike in the amount of users and subscribers. The season finishes, they go down. Starts again, goes up. In Netflix, always going up. So it's about being able to continuously understand and analyze the needs of your stakeholders, of your customers, and of your workers. It's all about protecting the personnel. As an organization, our most important asset is our talent. And how do we get the talent to shine together? Through corporate culture. So when you're in a company or when you work anywhere, you need to think about the culture there, I think. And do you really, how do you feel about it? Are you just accepting it? Are you internalizing it? What are you doing there? If you're not if you're just accepting it, why are you there? I mean, maybe if you're blue collar and have to, but otherwise, it's all about internalization, saying we. It's all about saying we. Otherwise, we just associate, Google. That's where most people are, but we need to internalize, say we, us. There's no I in team. And as you talk about this stuff,
actually there is no I, and there is no place for egoism. And as Bill Gates said, that the next leaders of the next generation are the ones who empowers others. So this is coming to what you're saying, that this team spirit should be there, especially in this era and in this phase of advancement.
Exactly. And as we do this, we need mental elasticity. We need creativity rather than just stress. Right now, when we watch the news, the cortisol hormone it becomes active. And so we need to be aware of our psychologies, work on NLP, for example, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, understand the VUCA, how our brain works, and create our own realities, run with the people we believe, who run. Why do we run with the leader? Because they bring the leader within us. We need to find the leaders within us. We're all the avatars of our own world. We all sleep with our own thoughts. And let me, before we run out of time, I would like to just give one homework, one question, with your permission. And
yes, please.
And just one question. Think about it before you go to sleep, because we all sleep with our own thoughts at the end of the day. If money was what would you do if money was no object? I know it's an object, but when I do coaching or when I talk to students, they tell me I want to ride horses, I want to be an artist, but There's no money there. My mom and dad, 23-year-old, still my mom and dad. Listen to everyone, but be true to yourself. Your instincts are there for a reason. I'm not saying be close to others, but if you don't do what you love, you think you need to do it because someone said to you, you won't be successful with it. But if you love it, me and Jalal Bey are talking at 1 a.m. and we're messaging because we love what you do. We're passionate about it, and we feel stronger together. We're better together. It's more meaningful together. So, and then we get excited, and then we can get maybe eventually successful. Or I talk about myself. But what is real success? Be in the moment, inspire, and bring hope. And that's true leadership. It's not being a CEO is not necessarily being a leader. You might be just a boss, and that's not a great word. So, so at the end of the day, we need to focus on people. Everything in its center is people, and with people comes technology, and we need to be savvy about it, especially today. We need to use these IoT, big data, blockchain, cloud, robotica, AI type of tools, but towards responsible structures, responsible systems, towards valued-based neural networks, towards a good homo deus. Because we are evolving and the new world order has arrived, whether we like it or not. And we need to look and we need to have real-time data collection. We need to have a holistic shareholder and stakeholder insight, and not just a wait and see approach. This is the time to be proactive. The world is super reactive right now. And we need to create an opportunity out of this crisis, and we need to help AI to uplift humanity rather than destroy it. It can go both ways, but they're not mutually exclusive, just like the sweet and sour sauce in McDonald's.
So, to be honest, I have to say that this wasn't just like a normal session. We have turned it into a complete academic session. We've learned a lot today from you. You talked about the qualities, about the concepts, contemporary education, professions of the future, the differences of the millennia, the new world principles and the values that needs to be focused on, the impact of artificial intelligence and singularities, and the smart cities. So, with the smart cities, let us come to the final stage of our session so that we can conclude today's session. Turkey. Where is Turkey heading towards within this digital age? Is Turkey on the right track?
Thank you. Great question. Well, let me answer it in this way. I think the world is going to be divided into 3 classes, be it on an individual, organizational, or statewide level. I think the first level, or the first class, 3 classes, let's say. The first class is those who show the direction, are those who are showing us where we need to go, the visionaries. And they are going to lead the world. They are going to own the digital qualities, and they will be the winners. And who are they? The ones who put the young at the front, the ones who use intelligent business models, platform-based cognitive enterprises, using Industry 4.0 technologies towards sustainable models, which really involve all of humanity. Now, the second level, and they're going to be the game changers, the innovators, the brilliant ones, both people, companies, and countries. The second level, the second class, would be the ones who catch the wave. They're not showing the wave, but they're catching the wave. And I think that Turkey, up until now, was at that point, having import power, not innovating, but importing. The third class doesn't catch the wave, doesn't catch the train, and dies in the desert. Now, in this global transition towards the new world order, what suits Cyprus and Turkey is to be a first class player, and for that we need good values, good people like yourselves, fine ladies and gentlemen, and you, Jalal Bey. Now, seriously, we need that. I think that Turkey was in the second class, but because of its young population, because of its technological population, because of the know-how transfer from the West, and we have great coaches and great older sisters and older brothers. It's like a car. The older ones always press are a bit more careful and are using the brake more. The youngsters are more risk takers and are using the gas more. If you only use the gas, you get out of control. If you only use the brake, you don't go anywhere. So you need them both. In a soccer team, is everyone 18? Is everyone 32? No, it's a karma. That's why we need to get the generations to work together, because we need each and every one of them to work together. And that's not an easy thing to do. We're going towards an open talent economy. And as we're going towards an open talent economy, we need to adjust all together. And as we do this, we need to also remember that that digital detox is also very important. I also want to say, we are talking about technology, well, nature, animals, contact, not always watching things that stress the amygdala, but the things that foster creativity, that foster us to become a first class nation. And for this also, for Turkey to shine in Cyprus, I think that there are two solutions. One is contemporary education, and for that, I'm so thankful to your organization. The most karmic energy and the best thing to do is I think being in educational forums. But education is not only at university. We also have education at work. We also need, there's the second we stop educating ourselves, we become old. So there's education at work. The universities prepare people for work. So we continuously within an ecosystem need to work together. So other than contemporary education, we need strong ecosystems. And within these ecosystems, the private sector, the public sector, governments, NGOs, academia, even influencers and people from the and artists, we need everyone to work hand in hand. And as I said, create a country and a society which believes in 1 + 1 = 3. And so currently Turkey, I think, is on the second level, but I think that thanks to you and thanks to the people here, we'll reach the first level. I have complete belief. And as I said, if we don't have belief, it becomes a vicious cycle and we lose by default. And also education is always always a two-way street. So I also learn a lot from you and your comments and you, Jalal Bey. So thank you so much. It's a real honor and privilege, as I said, to be amongst you fine people. But I would just like to close with the following. The problem, the socio-economic issue right now is the loss of trust. Loss of trust in institutions. We see in America always the New York government fighting and creating fear. We see loss of trust. And look at spiral dynamics. You see that with time always there are different meanings and different needs in life, but the needs that have passed are still in our DNA, but then there are new needs. So as we go towards the new needs of humanity, and when I say humanity, I'm also encapsulating animals and nature in it as we're their children. We need to stick to our real values, and we need to realize that, as you said, and as Bill Gates said, it's all about empowering others. There's no me. And I think that the younger generation is understanding this better and better. We need coaches, though. We need mentors. We also need reverse mentors. I have 3 reverse mentors from the Z generation. They know everything. They don't listen, which is another problem, but they're much more capable than us. Every generation has its thing. I'll complete my thought. I'll complete my thought with the following. The best warrior is never angry. And never forget that these dark forces or these problems or these difficulties, people who have difficulties don't have money. They're very lucky. The lucky ones are unlucky. Again, a paradox, because if you go through difficulties, you have grit, then you really become, stronger. I didn't have the easiest life, and I'm thankful for it, for everything that happened, and especially for the difficult moments, because they strengthen your ethical code. They strengthen your grit and your belief in what you need to do. So if you feel like not the lucky ones or the fortunate ones, you're actually much more fortunate, because that that will lead you towards greatness. Usually, when there's success, we connect it too much with ourselves, and when there's a problem, we connect it too much with external issues. Rather than doing that, remember. Nothing is good or bad. Everything is just as we see it, and things that seem good at a certain point might switch and turn bad, or things that seem bad at a certain moment might be good.
Which as well.
Jalal, I would like to complete with a short story, if we have, if it's okay with you.
Yeah. Please do so.
Yes. Now, this is a great story from the Tao Te Ching, from Lao Tzu, from the Tao philosophy. I read it from, I learned it from Alan Watts. He's an amazing thinker that you can find on YouTube. He passed away, but he still lives on within every one of us. Think of it. We live within each other, right? We carry each other. My favorite book is Socrates and the Apology. I carry Plato. So we all need to carry and believe in good things. The people we're with, the things we believe in, give us integrity. Now, this Tao philosophy has a great story that shows that nothing is either good or bad, and that everything can switch. And actually, this is the Tao philosophies. You can find in a book called Tao Te Ching. That's a great book, and really each page is just a poem, and you extract different things out of it. But coming back to the story, there was an old villager back in the day in China. Coming back to China, and this villager used to live in a small village, and he had one horse, small piece of land, but he was very poor, but very loved and quite old. One day, a lord passes by the village and offers the old villager some gold for his horse, because he feels bad for him. He pities him, but the old villager refuses and says that the sentimental value is really high with the horse, and that it's his best friend, that he would stay with him if the lord allows. The lord says, as you wish. The next day, that evening, all the villagers go to his house and ask, why didn't you take the gold? All our lives are quite difficult. Yours is even more. With that gold, you could have bought not 1, 10, 15 horses. The old villager says, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know, we'll see, time will tell, with no emotions whatsoever. The next day, the horse that he didn't sell runs away and gets lost, nowhere to be found. Damn, no horse. That evening, again, everyone goes to his house. Don't worry, we'll help you. One youngster cannot hold himself, and says, I wish you took the gold. Now there is no gold. There is no money. There is nada. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. Same answer. The next day, the horse that ran away comes back with a horde of horses, and they all settle in the small piece of land of the old villager, and he becomes the richest of the village. He was the poorest in one night. From the poorest, he became the richest. Again, everyone goes to his house this time to celebrate. We're so happy for you. If someone deserves it, it's you. How did you know? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. Before he didn't get upset. Now he doesn't get excited. The next day, his only son tries to tame one of the wild horses, and while doing so, falls from the horse and gets injured and becomes crippled for life. Now, I don't have children. I have 2 doggies, which take great care of me. But seriously, I mean, I guess our most important, our most valuable assets is our kids, and afterwards our brain. So we should make all our investments toward these 2 things. Now, now, as the kid falls and becomes a cripple for life, everyone goes to his house. Where did the horses come from? We wish they never came. Before, they were so happy that the horses came. Now, although it's his son, he still says, the old villager, I don't know, we'll see, time will tell. The next month, a war breaks out. And the Chinese military goes village by village and takes all the youngsters to certain death. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. But one youngster survives. And that's the injured, crippled son that gets to stay with his father for a long time. And this story continues for a long time. So you never know what will happen eventually. You never know what will lead to what. So we need to be cautiously optimistic, focus on future 6.0 while believing in society 5.0, being aware of the anxieties and stresses, but rather focusing on cognitive flexibility and imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Said Einstein, and let time fly. For me, time flied with you. So we need to find our passions while being cautiously optimistic. And lastly, I would just want to finish with Rumi, as in Turkey and across the world. I mean, I'm a big believer and follower. This is only your path, Rumi says. Others can walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. So at the end of the day, listen to your instincts, listen to your intuitions, challenge traditional business models, discover the leaders within you, and believe that we will evolve together. And by evolving together, it's beautiful. And by giving, we actually end up taking. Life is all about giving. The more you give, the more you get. And it's all about creating a multiplier effect, empowering others. The true success is enabling others, making other leaders. True leadership doesn't have one leader. Leadership doesn't consist of one leader. So let's all give, let's cause a multiplier effect, let's make the world a better place and enact Society 5.0. And while doing it, project and imagine Futuristic 6.0 as Jedis. It's truly meaningful together. I think that we're really stronger together. So I thank you for your attention. And as I said, it's a true honor and pleasure. With my utmost respect, of course.
Truly to say, Mr. Tal Garih, we are so grateful to you today. You have given a lot of your time, and I think, as you said, we are grateful for this momentum. We are grateful and thankful that we had the chance of trying to reach our students. It's a matter of brainstorming and paying it forward. Sharing should be the main means and principality these days for the next generations to learn and to be creative and to advance themselves in this area. So once more, thank you again, and hopefully we're going to be having you on our campus.
I would love that.
You please stay tuned as well in this regard. We'll keep in touch, and I'm sure that we will have this pandemic finishing off soon, and life will be on the right track, because life is beautiful, it's wonderful, and we deserve to be in it, and we deserve to contribute to it as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Tal, and see you soon.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see such beautiful people together. And thank you again, Jalal Bey. My utmost respect. And of course, sincere love as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Yes. So we are done with our session. We're really very grateful to Mr. Taleb for his time, for his valuable time. He shared many things. We've discussed many topics today, from COVID-19 impact, implications on socio-economic economies of countries, and the countermeasures to be taken, from the privacies and the impacts of that and the disadvantages of what's going on, from the qualities of the new generations to the concepts of 4, 5, 6 to contemporary education, to the differences with the millennials, to the principles of the New World Order. And we talked about the smart cities and the digital transformation of Turkey as well. And last but not least, please remember that all of you are gifted. Use your own gifts to achieve success. Please, please, please stay at home, stay healthy, and stay safe. May you all be blessed, and see you again in another event. Have a nice day and take care.